continue with our first topic, that is demand analysis of grade 12. Today we are going to start with demand schedule. What is a demand schedule? It is a chart or a tabular representation of a commodity demanded at various possible price. You can see in the picture they are showing us it is a tabular representation. It is written in a table format. You can see it is written in a table format. And there also we are having two formats. You can see individual demand schedule, and below that I have written aggregate or market demand schedule. Individual demand schedule means it is saying about a particular person, one person, individual one person. So in the box you can see it is saying about price of tea per kilo and individual's demand in kg. So it is saying about a single person. If in market sometimes we find that 1 kilo of tea is being sold at rupees 50, that time that person can consume or buy 1 kilo. Okay, one person is demanding this 1 kilo. As the price of the tea got decreased to rupees 30, that single person is demanding now 4 kilos of the same product. Next, what is aggregate or market demand schedule? Aggregate or market, aggregate means total, or market demand schedule means when we are calculating more than one individual's demand, that time we are saying it as a market demand schedule, more than one. Okay, you can see in this picture price of tea per kilo. As you can compare and understand between the individual demand schedule and the market demand schedule. You see, first when it is 50 kilo, individual is demanding 1 kilo, and here in the market we are seeing that when it is 50 kilo, 200 consumers, and 200 consumers is asking 1 kilo each when it is rupees 50. So how much kilo is sold? 2000 kgs. When the price is 30, 2000 consumers are buying 4 kgs per kilo, and they are consuming 8000 kilos of tea. So as we are aggregating or keeping a record of more than one individual, how much that person is buying, this is what we are calling a market demand schedule or a aggregate market demand schedule. The schedule means a tabular representation or a representation or in a chart form. And below you can see I have drawn a demand curve. This is a demand curve. What is a demand curve? A demand curve represents demand of a commodity at various possible price in a curved manner. You can see in this picture, it is nothing. At the top we are having presentation in a table form, and this is in a curve form. Left hand side we can see the vertical axis is telling us about the price, and the horizontal axis is telling us about the demand. And DD means the demand curve. So as the price is decreasing, the demand is increasing. So as the price is decreasing, the quantity demanded for that commodity is also increasing. Like P1, you can see P1 in horizontal axis, P1, when the price is so high, from 0 it is coming to P1. This means the price is high. So P1, how much quantity is demanded? Q1. Individual, this is curve of 1%. When the price is P1, the quantity demanded is Q1. When the price is P2, the quantity demanded is Q2. When you are joining this K and L line together, we are getting a curve, and this is called demand curve. This is individual demand, one person's demand. Again the same example as shown above. When the price of tea, when price of tea per kilo is rupees 50, that time we can consider P1, that the quantity is demanded less, and when it's P2, the quantity is demanded more. What is market demand curve? Below you can see there are too many demand curves at a time drawn here. D1 is saying about one individual person. D2 is saying about another individual person. And what is DD? This is the market demand curve. How it is denoted? Like in the above picture, in individual demand curve, we are saying about one person. The market demand curve is the amalgamation or total or aggregate of different persons. Together, we are just summing it up. Okay. At a given price, here the price is considered to be fixed. Okay. At a given price, what they are doing, they are calculating that, okay, at a given price, the first consumer, that is D1, they are considering that Q1 quantity is demanded by the first consumer, that is D1. Then the second consumer is coming, D2 is denoting that line, and here that person is demanding Q2 quantity. So you can understand the price is fixed, but the demand is shifting from one person to another according to their preferences. They are changing how much quantity they want. Maybe somebody is buying some commodity more for the consumption at the given price, and somebody is buying less. So how to find the demand curve or market demand curve in this matter when the price is fixed? We have to add all the demand curves we are drawing. Q1, Q2 I have shown. If there is Q3, Q4, all we have to sum up. All you have to add. And then by summing it up or totaling it up, then you will draw a demand curve, that is DD, as shown in the picture, is denoting OQ0 quantity is needed in the market. So this is a market demand curve. It is not of anybody individual. Okay, next here we'll study about the law of demand. What is law of demand? What is law of demand? Law of demand means price and quantity demanded of a quality move in opposite directions. Okay, as the price of a commodity will increase, the demand for that commodity will decrease. As the price will decrease, the demand will increase. This is called inverse relationship also, because they are never moving together. Okay, this is law of demand. In law of demand, not only the price is increasing and the demand is decreasing, we are having some exceptions also. We'll come to know about those also. So what is law of demand? First is all factors excepting the price of the concerned commodity which influences the individual demand of a commodity remain unchanged. Here they are trying to say the income of the consumer, the taste, the preferences, price of the related commodity, everything is mattering here. Okay, remains unchanged. Everything is mattering here. For the normal commodities, we have already discussed in our previous video about this matters. They are explaining the same thing here. What is the acceptation or the exceptions? What are the exceptions of the law of demand? The first exception is, you can see in the picture, it is a upward sloping curve. It is a upward sloping curve. This does not happen all the time. Usually a demand curve is always downward sloping, as I am showing you in this picture, is always downward sloping. But in some cases we might find exceptions and we find that demand curve is upward sloping. The first point is conspicuous consumption. Conspicuous consumption means just to show off. We are consuming some product just to show off, like expensive furnitures, diamond ornaments, which are not essential for anybody, but it is just having effect that we are rich person. We are showing somebody that yes, we are rich. We want to show the society, I am having this KTM bike. So it is just having a conspicuous consumption. Number 2 is bandwagon effect. Bandwagon effect means when we start consuming some product thinking that this product is always used by higher class people. Okay, suppose for example iPhones. Whenever a person will have the earnings, and that person will start thinking, okay, now no more of Vivo and Oppo. I have to use something branded. Let me use iPhone. Okay, this is a bandwagon effect. This means we have associated few products, few companies, few brands with a higher class, and we are thinking as we will start using that, and then we will also belong to that community. So in this regard, we will have a upward sloping demand curve. The demand of iPhones are really high, but in order just to show off, we can start buying those. So that is the same matter for the conspicuous consumption also. Number 3 is snob effect. Snob effect means a commodity which is consumed typically by poor people. When the price of this commodity falls, the consumers may decrease. Okay, as the commodity price is decreasing, few people are thinking that okay, now poor people have started using those products. We are not going to use those brands and those companies anymore. Those have become very cheap. Okay, this is called snob effect. Next is number D, occupying insignificant portion of consumers' budget. Now let me tell you, if the price increases also or if the price decreases also, the commodity consumed in this factor remains the same. The quantity demanded for this commodity remains unchanged. No matter if the price increases or if the price decreases, we will get a vertical demand curve. What is a vertical demand curve? This is a vertical demand curve. Okay. No matter if it is P1, if the price is high, if the price is getting low, P2, then also the demand curve is vertically straight, right? You can see the quantity demanded is remaining the same. This is occupying insignificant portion of the consumer's budget. We can have a great example of this, that is salt. If the price of salt increases also, we have to take the same quantity. We cannot buy a huge quantity of salt. Okay, if the price is low, let me buy 10 kilos of salt and keep it in my home. It's useless, right? So salt is a good example of this. No matter how much there is change in price, people have to consume the quantity needed for it. Next, number E, that is speculation or expectations regarding future price. If the price have increased, then supposedly the demand must decrease. But here it is just coming opposite. If the price have increased, the people are buying more of it. Why? Because they are afraid that in future the price can increase more than this also. At present we are having, like for example, gold. Day after day and years after years, we are finding that the price of gold is increasing and it will keep on increasing, right? So from now, those who are thinking of buying some jewelry which will be needed after 10 years, after 20 years, they can think that okay, after 20 years the price of the gold will be much more higher than this. So let me start buying some gold and keep in stock. Okay, demand is also increasing, but price is also increasing. This is a speculation, or you can say assumption or thinking of the people that in future the price will increase more. Next we are having number F is Giffen effect. Giffen effect was said by Sir Robert Giffen. What have he observed? That if there is a commodity which is used by certain people, or maybe poor class or middle class or higher class, whichever class you consider, if the price of that commodity increases, what happens is people starts cutting off the cost of other products from their budget and starts consuming those products itself. For example, if in market, like rice is a staple food, right? In West Bengal, rice is a staple food. So rice is needed by everybody. If suddenly the price of rice will go high, then people may cut their budget regarding buying biscuits, or maybe buying sugar, or maybe buying fruits or vegetables. They will cut it off. They will cut short. They will not spend much money there. They will try to buy little little of fruits, little of maybe biscuits, grocery, little bit they'll buy, and they will try to spend more money on potatoes or on the edible like rice, and they will try to keep that in stock because they will again be afraid that the price might get high once again. This is Giffen effect. Next we are having Veblen effect. What is Veblen effect? Veblen effect means when the price of a commodity is decreasing, we feel that the quality is very bad. For example, in sale if we go, we get clothes in very cheap price. Often people start thinking how they are able to give this 200 rupees shirt in rupees 100. That means the quality is bad. It is having an adverse effect also. If the same product is packed in a beautiful packet and is being sold in a maybe in a shopping mall, that time we go and buy the same product with greater price, because we feel that as the price is high, maybe the quality is also very high. So these are the few factors which is having effect on the demand curve, and it is having adverse effect, and the demand curve is going upward. Okay, but usually the demand curve is always downward sloping demand curve. Hopefully you understood. Thank you.